How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Williams Builds channel, and today we're back with the Bentley again. In the last video we got a lot of work done. We got the structural damage repaired, but we've still to put the front end back together. However, before I do that, I want to actually find out why it's not running correctly. I did think that changing the intercooler might have helped, getting rid of the hole in it, making the airflow better, but it still has the misfire in the left bank of cylinders. I believe that's bank 2, but I think what we'll do is we'll go through a systematic kind of fault finding approach, and we'll start off by plugging the hotel in, and then we'll take it from there. So let's do it. So as you can see, the misfire is actually limited completely to the left hand side. The right hand side is actually running quite smooth, and it does have a little bit of petrol smell here, so to me it's not firing properly. So we'll go through a bit of fault find it and we'll figure out what's wrong with it. So with the hotel plugged in, I can now do a manual diagnostics search on the car. It's actually came up with a VIN number, so just making sure it's the right car, and it's decoding that just now. So that's established it's 2008 Bentley Coupe. So we'll now do a search on this just now. We'll go straight in for diagnostics and we'll do an auto scan on it just now, and we'll see what it comes up with. So straight away at the start of the scan, it's came up with an engine control module fault, and it's moving on to the other modules just now. It's got one with the brakes, and we'll just let that run through its system program just now. So there's actually a lot of modules in this car, so it's actually taking quite a bit of time. So we'll rejoin this video as soon as it's finished and we'll start going through what faults there is. So yeah, just brought in the fault codes just now. So it's got an active static exhaust gas temperature circuit, bank 1 lower limit not reached, but it could just be because the car's cold at the moment. And then it's got check DTC member rate of engine control module 2, ECM2 implausible signal. So if I come back out of that and go back into engine control module 2 and bring up the trouble codes for that, this should show the fault that I found a little bit earlier off camera. So that is now telling me that throttle valve and control module 2 mechanical malfunction, upper limit exceeded, and throttle valve control module 2 adaptation not initiated, upper limit exceeded. So to me that is telling me that there is a problem with the throttle valve on control module 2 at this point. I will actually do some more fault finding, but I think the first thing to do is I'll take both the throttle valves and I'll swap them over, and I'll see if the fault moves to the other side of the car. If it doesn't, we'll then start stripping down the inlet manifolds. We'll clean the throttle bodies up while we've got them off. We'll check the spark plugs, we'll check the coil packs, but what we'll do is we'll do one really thing at a time, just to make sure that we're not chasing faults and making more faults as we're going along. So I think a good start is to check the throttle valve on the left bank just to see if it's working okay. That is actually where the crash damage is, so one of the first things we'll do is we'll just double check that the wiring going to the throttle valve's all okay. So I think the best thing we can do here is actually we're just going to take this off and we're going to just check it, we'll clean it and just make sure it's actually all working okay before we actually do anything further. A bit of research online actually showed that you can actually do a throttle body adaptation calibration using VCDS, so I think we might try that first, just before we go taking anything completely to bits. And that is, I'm not sure how that's going to be sitting, but that isn't actually sitting fully shut just now, so just check the other side compared to this side just to see what it looks like. So already, I'll show you when I get it open, but that is actually sitting in a completely different position to that one. So on the other side, so they should be sitting in the same position. So best thing we can do is we'll just disconnect this, take it off, we'll give it a good clean up, and we'll have a look and see what we can do with it. It's always good when you actually find something not quite as it should be, as that gives you something to look at and focus on as part of the diagnosis. I had a look on eBay for one of these throttle bodies, but in order to save costs I haven't bought one yet. It's interesting to note that they can be found on Audis also, but the cheapest one I could find on eBay was actually taken off a Lamborghini. So unbelievably, it was only advertised as buy it now for £55. One advertised for a Bentley was nearer £200 second hand, and a new one was much more, so it pays to shop around. Throttle body is removed by simply unplugging one cable to it and then removing 4 hex head bolts. The gasket will need replaced later, but they're less than £10 each, so well worth changing. So there we go, and straight away I found a problem. Right up in the top of it, there's actually a bit of plastic sitting lodged, and that is stopping the throttle body from moving properly. It is actually jammed there. I'm now going to have to strip down the whole inlet. I don't know if there's any further bits of plastic in the engine, but straight away that is now closing properly. Going to give that a good clean, put that back on, but I'm also going to take that inlet manifold off just to check for any further bits of debris. I don't want anything further in the engine, but I think that might be a good chance that that's part of the problem on why this isn't running right, because the air is not getting the proper mixture. But hopefully it is just something as simple as that, and we can put it back together and try it. So the first thing we do is start by removing a few Torx head screws on top of the air filter boxes, and that allows us to remove the lid. Once the lid's off, the filter just simply lifts out, and thankfully it does actually look quite clean, although we'll replace it later and put fresh ones in just to make sure the car's fully serviced. So I think it is very important that we check inside this throttle body, just inside this inlet manifold. It doesn't look too difficult to take off once you get this off, so we'll take at least this side off, and we can stick the boroscope camera down in there just to look for any further debris, and we'll get that a good clean while we're at it as well. Then we can move the right hand throttle body, and that is exactly the same as removing the left one. Thankfully there's not a big piece of plastic stuck in this one, and that one should be okay. After that, there's several hex head bolts across the middle of the top of the manifold, and taking them out releases the manifold, and the only thing that's left holding it in then is there's also two Torx bolts on the side that holds one of the metal vacuum pipes. Once that's removed, you can then actually just lift the manifold up. I'm not going to take it fully away because the vacuum pipes are all at the back of the manifold and they are on with clips, and I don't want to disturb them just in case they're all okay. As long as I can get it pulled back enough to get the camera in and have a good look down, I'll be quite happy with that. And I can do the same when I'm going to change the gasket again later. Also, I can change the spark plugs this way as well. So what we're doing now is just, rather than taking all the vacuum pipes and everything off, I know I'm going to have to take it back to bits again to change all the spark plugs because I want to do all them anyway, and I'm going to have to change gaskets that I've just disturbed. But just to make sure there's no debris down this engine, I'm using the Autel with the camera just to make sure that there is nothing there, and so far there's absolutely nothing, it's absolutely spotless. What we'll do next though is we'll go down each cylinder just to make sure there's no plastic in the cylinders. Right, so there's no further debris down there, so what we can do is we'll start putting it back together and then we'll see how the car runs. I start by putting all the bolts holding the inlet manifold back in temporarily, as I need to change the gaskets and service the car, as I've already said, but since I haven't got them yet, I really want to see if the car runs correctly now and prove just how lucky it was that a tiny piece of plastic caused such a big issue. Also, at this point I'm starting to feel really lucky that nothing got dragged into the engine, as that could have been very expensive. And if that luck isn't worth a subscribe, I don't know what is. Seriously though, if you've watched this far and haven't done so already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot to me and I want to keep bringing more content all the time. Before I refit the throttle body, I give it a good clean with some brake cleaner. This one's not too bad, the other one's got a little bit more oil in it, but I'm making sure I also put the correct ones back in the correct place at the same time because I don't want any calibration errors. After the throttle body is cleaned, I refit it in the exact reverse of the removal and refit the intake hose before refitting the bottom half of the airbox. Once this is done, I can then do the exact same on the other side. Then once all that's back together, we can put the filter back in, and before it can be started the airbox lids have to be secured back into place, as it's pretty much a sealed airbox and needs the air to pass through it correctly or it won't run right, as the air is metered into the filter boxes as well. The whole electronic and mechanic side of this car seem to be rather complicated, but that does make it good fun and it makes it a really cool project to learn on. So that is pretty much everything connected back up. The air filters and that are all back in. As I said before, I've still got these gaskets to change. I will take them back out when I've got to the spark plugs. Hopefully that's sorted the running issue, but we'll find out right now because we're just away to try it. And straight away we find that the engine is running really smooth. That's absolutely amazing. We will run the Autel once more just to see how it goes, but I think it's safe to say that that problem is now solved and we can get back on with the bodywork. So now that I've had the car running for a little bit of time, I've actually found another problem. I think it's a power steering hose. It's right behind where the crash damage was, so it looks as though that hose is split, so we'll have to order that part up as well. So with the running issue now fixed on the Bentley, that brings a huge sense of relief, because looking on eBay there, it does look as though a decent engine that has relatively decent mileage is plus in excess of £5,000. So that really would have made the project unviable. However, thankfully my engine does seem to be really good. It is revving nice now, there's no engine management lights up anymore, and it does seem to have come out of limp mode, and the petrolly smell that was with it is gone. It's just sorted itself, plus it backed it up, full Bentley service history. It really is best to have the original engine in this car. Now, I do have a couple of other problems that have manifested themselves. That power steering hose is obviously burst, but we'll replace that in the next video, and we'll also replace the air conditioning hose that I drilled through in the first video stupidly, and we'll make a real dent into the bodywork and get that back in one piece, hopefully have it running and driving in the next video. Now, going price wise again, I'm still sitting around about the 12,500 mark from the start of the video. The engine repair hasn't cost me anything more. It will cost me some gaskets and a service kit. It'll be a few hundred for the service kit. The gaskets, the throttle body gaskets, are actually £10 each, so they're not too bad. And the inlet manifold gasket looks to be about £15. So again, not breaking the bank and worth it, because they are really only one use, and I don't want any air leaks from that, and I need the car to run perfect. The power steering hose that burst, that's a different story. To get a brand new one is about anywhere between £600 and £700, depending on where you go for it, and I'm struggling to get a second hand one, and I've managed to get a second hand one from, believe it or not, Australia, and that is costing me £150. So when that comes from Australia, we'll get that fitted, and we'll get the power steering fluid all topped up, and we'll get that sorted. The air conditioning hose also, I got a second hand one off eBay, and it was £100, so hopefully it'll be okay. But if you've watched this video, thanks again. Please subscribe, please like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully you'll join me again, and we'll get this car finished. Thanks very much.
There's a fire.